Yo, what up, DJ Fink Club and Television 9A, baby. I got the girls. Just kick it. Got my girls Xscape in the house. What's up, baby? Thumb up. How y'all doing? Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey.
Go around, say your names for me.
Hey, what's up? I'm Kandi.
Yeah, I'm Tiny.
Push it up. I'm Tamika. I'm Tocha. How y'all doing?
When you stole my money, first I felt no love, and I was scared of you the most.
Hey, Brat, can I ask something?
Somebody stole my tape. Now I'm about to be blackmailed by them. If I don't apologize, they're gonna put the tape out. This is what the text says. You're not gonna scare me. You got my tape, but you said you didn't have my tape. Now all of a sudden you wanna extort me and put the tape out?
Tocha and I always bumped heads. It was always some type of beef.
Everything that y'all see is not what it seems.
And then, I understand, in 58 minutes, you can't tell a full story of how long. This is over 22 years. So it's gonna take more than that. It's gonna take something else.
Okay, Miss Tiny, Tamika Harris, providing the perfect segue for me to introduce myself. Shout out to you for clicking on this video. I already appreciate you if you did. My name is Tocha. I'm gonna be narrating this video, putting it together, all that. And if you don't know by now, you've made it to the 11th chapter. If nothing else, okay, we're officially a part of the same social circle, honey. Okay, y'all, so currently she's on trial in the court of public opinion, or rather public judgment. Your girl, LaTocha Scott, our girl, our good sis from, Xscape, 90s group classic. She's getting it hard, like the old folks say, when it rains it pours. She's being accused of being a thief, being a bully, breaking up her group, her husband's cheating on her, of being stupid, etc., 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 etc. When I look at her, I see something else, not excusing any of her bad behavior or bad deeds. I do believe her husband stole that money.
Did you cash the check?
What?
I'm sure y'all probably already saw on Tamika's channel, she brought out the receipts, documentations, the forgery that LaTocha's husband allegedly did in regards to cashing her checks. She's gonna do a whole separate video on her husband. Honestly, I saw the Tocha K video, the Tocha K interview rather, and he was talking all this stuff about like Michael Jackson and this and that.
If you watch my BBC interview, you will see how for 30 years I tried to tell Rob what was going on. It's more to me than people know. It ain't just Rkelly, it's Michael Jackson, it's Britney Spears, it's Trey Songz, it's Tamar Braxton. I signed it. Everybody think I'm just, we gotta talk.
And working with gang members and Rkelly and Trey Songz and all this stuff, and about this BBC interview. And I was like, look, he like, oh, you gotta go see what I said in the BBC interview. I went searching everywhere for that damn BBC interview.
Something about Rkelly. How are you connected to Rkelly? Were you a part of his camp?
Tocha, I'm Rocky, Rockland Records with Rkelly. I'm the one.
It's time to try and get Rocky to confirm that the marriage between Rkelly and Aaliyah had taken place.
Did Rkelly marry Aaliyah? Yes or no?
Did Rkelly marry Aaliyah? Can you marry somebody that's underage?
Okay, was there a ceremony involving Rkelly and Aaliyah?
Yes.
And you were there?
Was I there?
I mean, I think
I heard it was a ceremony. Yes.
Why don't I suppose if you were there,
okay,
why are you worried to say?
I'm not worried to say. Like I said, my loyalty is to a person who changed my life, right?
Well, all I can say is thank you for your honesty.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.
All right. So I'm gonna run out back.
Okay. Where you at doing? You were, okay. He's just, for the first time ever, confirmed that he was at Aaliyah's wedding with Rkelly, and that ceremony did take place. He was.
As for LaTocha, think about it, y'all. Like, honestly, she's being accused of being a bully. A few people have said it. Everybody can't be lying.
Wrong, your sister would always take your side, and you was like the leader of the group back then. Was you not like the leader back then?
Tasha was the mother bear, we were the cubs.
This do, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it was, so that made it like 2 against 2.
We got somebody in famous. I feel like bowing down worshiping y'all. We got Xscape in the house. What's up, girl?
What's up? Not much. What's up?
All right, first we're gonna start off by introducing everybody in the group first. Can we do that real quick?
Okay, start from this.
Okay, start that.
Hi, I'm Kandi.
Yo, what's up? I'm Tiny.
Yeah, I'm Tamika. And I'm Tocha.
And it made it, because to me, you always seem like the person everybody had to listen to, I guess because you was the oldest. But Kandi always seemed to be the one that was hurt and slighted because they had to take your side and follow what you said do.
When it comes down to the group, if we're not celebrated with the things that we've done,
honestly, we was all scared of you, Tasha. And when we was younger,
you was
all scared of you.
Brett, you was loving on me. Brett, you was loving on me back in the day.
We was all scared of you.
Brett.
Oh, I don't at all by no means believe that, a few clips should paint a whole picture of what happened. But seemingly, is leaning towards the Brat was more accurate in, her perception of the past. Honestly, even if you look at that video, the vintage video of the group back in the day, you see 2 on one side, 2 on the other side. And that just might be aesthetics, the producer told him to do. But what is not aesthetics is, you can see clearly that Tiny was annoyed. Kandi definitely looked annoyed to me, and also LaTocha seemed like she was given the direction. She was more in the leadership role, taking the leadership role seemingly. So I mean, here's the thing, there's a lesson we can all take from this. Check in with your people, check in with your friends, the people you associate with. And when I say check in, I really mean just make sure that you're accurate with the, how you're presenting, okay? Sometimes we have a false belief of how we're presenting to people, and the whole time it's completely different from how they're, experiencing us. As you can see, the Brat was like, look, I was scared of you. I was walking on eggshells with you. Everybody thought you were, I'm going to use the word domineering or bossy or being a bitch. And LaTocha, to me, she seemed like she wasn't, BSing. She genuinely thought that they were friends, they were cool, they were loving on each other. And to be fair, when it comes to interpretation and recollection, 2 things really can be true. Honestly, it's a matter of perception. So it's not even about she's right, or she's wrong. It genuinely can be that they just had 2 different interpretations of the past. Picture it, shout out to Sophia. Picture it, growing up in the 90s, you got this little Black girl who is not the standard of beauty, who is a fatherless child. Her father left when she was a kid. I'm not sure how much a relationship she had with her dad, but it seems from what I've heard she said in interviews that it was limited. And she's been dismissed, she's been ignored, she's been teased, she's been abused emotionally, mentally. All that stuff comes into play with why we have the adult Tocha Scott that we have now.
It's not been easy for me in this industry. I've always been known as the big girl. There was a particular time that we performed in Boca Raton, I'll never forget, and I sang my face off. The manager came, she was like, the big girl, she sounded really, really good. The compliment went out the window. It was like, oh, so did anybody tell her my name was Tocha?
At an early age, she had this desire to sing.
Tocha honed her skills at Mount Olive Baptist Church, where she became a standout soloist, even recording at the age of 11.
I didn't have the look that people probably would call like the cute little girl, but when I picked the microphone up, everything went away.
And Tamika started about 3 years old because she didn't want her sister to outdo her in anything. They were very competitive.
I would try to out-sing her, but she always won because she had the better voice. Now, I run circles around that chick. We were very, very close, to the point, if you said anything about her, I would try to fight you. I got suspended from school so many times because people would say things about her.
One member in particular bore the brunt of the jokes.
It was always this issue with my weight. It was so many comments made, and
You know, I didn't have a name anymore. It was always the big girl, and nobody wants to be called the big girl. My sister was like, big girl, but my name is Tocha. I'm a person. You know, sometimes people can say hurtful things they don't mean to. It was all about being pretty.
Okay, y'all, so tell me if this is not relatable. Now, has everybody had the same story? Has everybody went through the same trauma in life? No. But even if you haven't went through it, I'm sure you've seen someone who has. In the Black community specifically, this is, I feel like this is something that's very common, especially going back to the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, etc., etc. You know, the things we deal with within our community and other minority communities, should be told, you know, with colorism, with weight, you know, trying to live up to a European standard of beauty. You know, it's just recently in the mid 90s that we stopped trying to assimilate and chase the standard of beauty that America had for everybody, which was European. You know, back in the day, people used to say, do I look fat in these jeans? You was praying, people said no, but you know, it got to the 90s where I think for the most part, even us as Black people started trying to, you know, embrace our standard of beauty and what we look like. And now it's to the point where you want someone to be like, yeah, your ass look fat, okay? All right, you looking yes in them jeans. So LaTocha, honestly, you know, I'm sure she's heard it all, been through it all. The trauma runs deep. Now, like I said, this is not excusing her behavior, but it explains a lot. We can't change what we look like, but we can change how we act. So a person like her who initially may have been more welcoming, more sweeter, more kinder, if you can't be pretty, you can't choose to be tough. And that is, you know, it's a coping mechanism, it's a defense mechanism.
I didn't have the look that people probably would call like the cute little girl, but when I picked the microphone up, everything went away.
The very thing LaTocha said, that's what stood out to me the most. Why? Because it's very telling. Music is where she shined, and given her past, given her, you know, trauma, given her being neglected and not appreciated for how she looked, that's where she felt special. As humans, we all need something, someplace, somewhere, you know, some type of avenue to feel special, to feel useful, to feel resourceful, to feel important. And that's where she got it. She didn't get it from her looks, unfortunately, because of society. She probably might not have got it so much from at home, at least from her father, but we all know now it kind of appears that the mother showed favoritism towards LaTocha compared to Tamika. But nonetheless, I think I'm going to do a dedicated video to Tamika to talk about that. But again, with Tocha, so this is where I'm going to start getting to what I think has been deep misunderstandings between the Xscape members, where I think things went wrong. And yeah, Kandi comes in. Kandi has a unique voice. I know it might not be for everybody. I like her voice, but nonetheless, it was unique. And she was getting a lot of the lead vocal.
All of us have a lead. So that's our first album. I definitely am singing lead on it. And keep it on the real, I'm singing lead on it. Please tell me, that's 2 albums, 2 platinum albums. The second album, there's only 2 songs that I don't have a lead verse. So what are you talking about, ma'am?
And it kind of is similar to T-Boss from TLC. She has a very unique voice, very deep, raspy, but let's be honest, Shelly had the more traditional singing voice. She was more the vocalist in comparison, and I think the same can be said for Kandi and LaTocha.
Come a little bit closer and look into my eyes. If only for a moment.
LaTocha definitely has more of a powerful voice. But, you know, Kandi has a unique voice. And honestly, no fault of Kandi, but unfortunately, she probably triggered a lot of insecurities in LaTocha and trauma, because it's gonna present like, okay, once again, I have more of the talent, but I'm being put in the back burner because I don't have the look. And then that accompanied with Kandi's probably more assertive personality compared to the other girls. They had issues, you know. Kandi was doing the leads, which led to issues.
No, she and I have always bumped heads, to be clear. Yeah, like there was always issue. I will get into that more if we ever do a movie. I can give y'all some real tea.
Okay. So I guess there is a specific reason why they never got along from Jump Street. Clearly, I mean, they need to just come run us that story time ASAP. I just hope it's not over, man. But speaking of...
Things got worse when LaTocha's boyfriend, Rocky Bivens, a former security guard for Rkelly, became the group's new manager.
I told the group I was gonna manage LaTocha, and they were like, oh no, if you're gonna manage Tocha, you're gonna manage all of us.
The girls were very comfortable with him and didn't mind him being a manager because they knew that he had our best interest at heart.
That was the dumbest decision. I don't know how we fell for that banana in the tailpipe.
He separated it, so it was like I was on one side, he was on the other side, pulling her.
Clearly, the situation was going one way in one person's favor.
Talks came up, we should bring in another management party so that it won't be as biased. And I accepted the co-management thing, but that kind of created more, separation.
He meant well. He basically helped her, with losing weight and helping build her self-esteem up and letting her know how great she was. But it turned out that she started feeling like, I'm too great for y'all. I'm gonna do my own thing.
Highs and lows. I've been at my worst. I've been depressed. I've been wanting to take myself out of here. He was the only one that stood by my side. And I'm not saying this to make it seem like, oh, he's everything. But he's everything to me and my family. He's everything to me and our son. And do we have problems? Are we perfect? No, we're not. But with our relationship, some people keep the fact that they have an open relationship quiet. They want to keep it private. But we have that.
Me and my wife we ain't got no open relationship. I don't run around promising people lifestyles without her. And guess what? When you are me, a person can show a text message 10 times, Tocha, I promise you. It ain't mine.
Oh, what does this look like to me? It looks like to me, and I say this figuratively, the bad guy saved her. I was gonna say the devil, but bump that, rebuke that. But the bad guy saved her. Honestly, it's sad to me. I really empathize with her. I feel for her. Deep down inside, that little girl still lives in her, and that little girl still wants to be loved, still wants to be accepted, wants to be beautiful, wants to be special, wants to be admired. And one of the first people that did that filled that void, that gave that to her was Rocky, her husband. Even though by all accounts, it seems, he's a toxic man. He's not a good man. And I'm going to talk about that in the video I do that's dedicated to him. But along with that, he gave her confidence. And with the situation she already had with Kandi, with her wanting to probably have that spotlight for herself, in the most innocent, in an innocent way, not to just be egotistical, but to fill a void that she should have had healed and resolved with therapy. I don't know if she's ever been to therapy, but if she has, she needs to go back from what I see. And I, pray for her. I am going to pray for her. Let me not lie. But I am going to pray for her because I feel for her. It kind of reminiscent. It reminds me of the Wendy Williams situation. And it's a situation that a lot of women are going through. Even with this whole lie about them having an open relationship, I've been called bullshit on that. If they had an open relationship when the allegations first came out, they would have just said it. Now, perhaps they didn't want people in their business, so they thought it would go away. And maybe now they could have been just putting it out. I can see that. But no, my intuition personally just tells me there's no open relationship. She probably knows her man has always been a cheater, like a lot of women. And, as long as she's not embarrassed, she turns a blind eye, but it's not an open relationship. And he said it's not an open relationship. So yeah, cut that out, sis. And if she would sit there and basically, put her reputation in jeopardy, accepting an open relationship instead of telling the truth and saying my man be cheating and I just don't want to leave because he fills a void for me. She's willing to put her reputation in jeopardy in order to save his, so he won't look so bad. That's very telling, super telling. And I mean, I guess that's what I'm gonna leave it at with her. I just feel like we all need to give her some grace, that she need to be held accountable for the things that she did, or for even turning a blind eye to, you know, things, you know, criminal acts. Yes, absolutely. But like, it's, oh, child. Yeah, I feel for her. Honestly, she needs to have like a come to Jesus moment. You know, for
Hey Daddy, sinners have soul too.
LaTocha, baby girl, see, sinners have song too. You might have did whatever, looked past whatever. Baby, sis, ma'am, it's not the end of anything. And just like the song says, maybe God is trying to tell you something. Like I said earlier in this, that when it rains, it pours. It's raining it's pouring. Cats and dogs, like the old people say, for sure. But maybe it's God trying to tell you something, you know. Everything is not the devil. Sometimes God is trying to, you know, give you a lesson. And like I said, I'm just hoping the best for her. I have grace for her. Hopefully other people watch the video and, you know, have grace for her. Have grace for yourself. You know, we all been through things. We all been through trauma. And it's easier said than done to heal from it. And sometimes we just need encouragement. But I was going into here, but I really feel like I have to put this clip in here, and then I'm gonna tell you why I put it in here, or 2 clips, and then we'll be out.
Things kind of shifted because a lot of more producers wanted Tocha to lead.
Every studio they go into, you know, the producers or the writers were saying, you know, we want Tocha to sing this song, and just Kandi wasn't with that.
At one point, I said, I'm not gonna sing anymore because I don't want to disappoint my group and I don't want to disappoint the producers. I don't know, it was depressing.
So Jermaine said, okay, well, what we're gonna do is after this 3rd album, we're gonna do your solo project.
It wasn't the, oh, I'm leaving my group because I think I'm all that. It was, they don't want me around. So what do? Do I stop singing?
Tocha had already let us know that she was going solo before we even recorded the 3rd album.
I remember we were rehearsing to go on tour. She says, I just came to tell y'all that I'm going solo. And I mean, Kandi, you can go do your little modeling thing or whatever it is you do.
And Tamika and Tiny, you know, y'all can go have more babies. When I tell you, my damn heart like dropped out my chest, okay? I could not believe she had the nerve or the audacity to say that to us.
Like, you don't want me to sing, but you don't want me to do a solo project either? Come on, now you've been a little bit too much.
Everybody was trying to make it, oh, Kandi's jealous because Tocha's singing more on this album. No, you dummies. Like, if you look at it, they're setting up her solo project, and we sitting here looking like the pips.
And there was more, adding fuel to the fire.
When I found out that Kandi and Jermaine were dating, it was already tension with who's gonna sing this song and this song, and it was just not at a good time.
We hooked up a couple times, and that was it.
Okay, so I put that in here because I really feel like, I don't know, in my spirit, I feel like I need to. So let me try to, you know, explain why I put this in here. Honestly, Kandi and LaTocha started off from jump clearly on a bad note. They didn't like each other almost from day one. Why? The story remains to be told. Now, you have the situation, like I said, with LaTocha. Music is everything to her. Music is her purpose. Music is, you know, her self-esteem. Music is her love. Music loves her. It's everything to her. Then you have Kandi coming in, and Kandi was getting a lot of the leads. Kandi has a more, you know, the slimmer look, I guess, you know, more acceptable to mainstream, especially in the 90s where appearance meant even more than it probably does now. And seemingly, some people will say that since LaTocha has a better voice, clearly she should have been the one up front. So if she wasn't, then it's all because of looks and etc. And now she has a grudge against Kandi because of that. And then Kandi probably don't like her because LaTocha is overbearing and etc. etc. And she feels the energy LaTocha is giving off. So it's just bad energy all around. Here's the thing. You see this clip. In this clip, Kandi is talking about how LaTocha basically was trying to go solo, but you also hear how everybody was saying that LaTocha was starting to get more solos on the third album. If you notice, back before when Kandi was talking about how she was on leads in all the first 2 albums, she never mentioned the third album because the third album, LaTocha was getting all the leads. In her opinion, LaTocha was getting the leads because, you know, also Rocky and then also So Dad Jermaine Dupri was trying to set up for her to go solo. Here's the thing. By the third album is when they had the big hit, Who Can I Run To? That hit. And it was a huge hit. So, of course, it's business. When there's a hit, people are like, okay, we want more of that sound. We want more of that sound. So this is why I say a lot of this probably is just a misunderstanding from day one. But even in this situation, it probably wasn't even because So Def was going to just make her Diana Ross and throw away, the Supremes, or like Kandi said, the Pips, them, Tiny, Tamika, and her. It probably was just them trying to make money and capitalize off of LaTocha's voice because she had the big hit, Well, Who Can I Run To? However, bad timing, the optics, it just looked bad. As for LaTocha, let's be real. I don't blame LaTocha. We already don't like each other. You were getting all the leads in the first 2 albums. I finally get the lead on the third album, and now all of a sudden, or seemingly, you're sleeping with Jermaine Dupri. I'm probably gonna think, okay, she's trying to sleep with him so she can get back on these leads.
I'm not stupid. I've seen this before. I know what you guys are doing. At this point, I'm over it.
For the 4th album, or she's gonna get in his ear and mess up my solo deal. Mind you, they already have issues. But that's probably not even the case because, Kandi probably just, wanted to get hers in. She wasn't even thinking about all that. But it just looks bad. And I say all this to say, honestly, I think probably a lot of this is just a bunch of misunderstandings, and it's so sad that they're in the place that they're in. And another thing I will say, the part where LaTocha said at the end of the video that, it got to the point I didn't even want to sing. I want to play the video I played earlier, the vintage video, and I want you to see the whole video. That's going to make this video longer. And I know y'all people don't like these long videos, but I just something in my spirit. I'm going to play the whole video, and I'm going to show you how before, although it may have looked like Kandi and Tiny were irritated, which it did, and I'm sure they had a reason, and it seemed like LaTocha was, taking over. Watch it again with a different, with a clearer mind, a different lens, a different perspective, because it also could look like that LaTocha, the man, pay attention to the man, the host. He is the one that's directing the mic to LaTocha most of the time. He is the one that was kind of ignoring Kandi and whatever. And it also could, if you think about it from a different perspective, that's why I said perspectives, it also could look like Kandi was annoyed because someone else was giving LaTocha the attention. We would never know what the whole true story is, but this is just my point in perception is a mother. Also, LaTocha, pay attention to her, because if you look at it a different way, you could say, well, she's being bossy and telling the man what to do and and she's taking over. Or if you look at it, especially hearing what she said in the interview, that she just didn't want to sing because she felt like it was causing problems. When the man was trying to direct everything to her, she was telling him, no, talk to them, no, ask them, no. She was bringing it back to them, trying to include all the members. What's the real truth? I don't know. But this is just a good lesson in, you know, you can see one thing, like that whole internet thing about the dress. One person can see it one way, another person can see it another way. And I'm not gonna come back after these 2 videos and just give y'all something to think about. Thank you for watching this video. It was longer than I expected it to be. I'm going to try to do a video on Rocky. I'm going to try to do a dedicated video for Tamika. This is not my usual content. The other videos in the future that I will be doing usually is more so focused on issues within the Black community. Check out videos I've put out so far. I'm new to all this. I'm nervous even as I'm talking, so give me grace when it comes to that. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, and share, and have a good one. Bye, y'all.
Girl.
What's up? Not much.
What's up?
All right, first we're going to start off by introducing everybody in the group first. Can we do that real quick?
Start from this.
Okay, start that.
Hi, I'm Kandi.
Yo, what's up? I'm Tiny.
Yeah, I'm Tamika.
And I'm Tocha. But before we go any further, can I present y'all with something?
Okay. Yeah.
Possible?
Whatever you say. I worship you.
Well, since Nat isn't here, we want to present this to Video Go for just helping us with our sales and everything like that. We really appreciate all your hard work for us. We really do.
Okay, thank you. I'm not giving this to him. I'll keep it for myself. Check it out, Detroit. Mr. Nat Morris, the producer of the show. Always working hard. Yeah, right. I'm the one doing the work. All right, we're going to go into the interview. Tell me about your first album. I know your first album had a lot of dope hits on there, Just Kicking It. I like the one with the Clark sisters, Is My Living in Vain? And I'm into gospel music, and y'all tore that one up. So tell me about that. Tell me about the first album. How did y'all feel about it?
Well, the first album was kind of quick because we really didn't have a lot of input because Jermaine came in and did his stuff. But this time on this album, we got a chance to co-write like 6 songs. So it was all a part of Xscape, all about us. So.
Okay. Can y'all give some advice to the younger people that want to get in the music business? Because Atlanta is blowing up so much. Can you give some advice to them?
Well, I would say before you get into the business, learn about the business because it's not everything that it seems to be. But a lot of prayer, a lot of hard work. And if you know what you want out of life, go for whatever you want. All of your endeavors. Strive for the best.
Okay, we're going to do something different because we always asking the same old questions. I want to know about some juicy gossip and y'all advice and y'all opinion on a lot of different things. First thing, did y'all go to the Mike Tyson fight?
We're not even going to talk about this Mike Tyson fight, okay?
Why?
I was disappointed because the guy didn't even have a bruise on his face and get his corner threw in the towel. What is that? What is that? I mean, how could he? You know, I wanted to see some blood.
He was knocked out twice.
No, right? No. What he did was he got knocked down on his knee, he jumped back up and ran around, and then he looked dizzy for us. Like, that wasn't good enough. I want to see some bruises. I want to see him get pounded down.
Okay. All right, so what y'all think about the Tupac situation, you know?
Yeah, you
Uh-oh. Talk about Tupac. What's up?
Nah, you know what I'm saying? I can't talk about it.
Came out of that video, Feel So Good. Tell me about that video, girls.
That video was very, very quick. Because that was like, we only had like 2 scenes. We had a water scene, a shower. I know y'all saw it. It was like, you know, all that kind of sexy stuff.
I saw that.
And then, you know, we're just kicking it, just feeling good, you know.
Okay. So what made y'all do it in that kind of scenes like
We want everybody to know we could be sexy, even with our clothes on. So y'all got that feel, right?
We were fully dressed, baby.
Fully dressed.
Okay. All right, they had a contest, the Great Escape Contest, right? Can you tell us about that? Because it was like, we gave out 500 of these, 40-some people called in, all my boys, you know, so... Oh, you're going to talk about it.
Okay. Well, it's like a big contest. Sony, if you are that certain caller or whatever, or that certain person, Sony is giving away like big TVs, CD players, and stereo players, and all kinds of nice little things like that. So
things that Sony make.
Yeah, right. So you know what I'm saying? So check it out. You might be that winner.
All right, we're going to go into some juicy gossip real quick. Because I heard one of y'all is dating Bill Bellamy. Is that? That's not true?
That's a laugh, right? That's a joke.
No, for real. One of the guys from MTV called me.
He's a good friend of ours.
Oh,
he is. Yeah, he is.
So are any of y'all dating anybody in the industry?
Oh, no. No.
Okay, what can we expect from Xscape in the future?
Longevity, more platinum. Let's go 6 million.
6 million. How,
strong. We hoping and praying, you know.
Okay, how y'all feel about working with Jermaine Dupri?
We love working with Jermaine Dupri. He's like our brother, you know what I'm saying? He's not so where boss say, well, you got to do this, you got to do that. He gives you your choice and asks you, you know, what you think about, you know what I'm saying? So it's like working with somebody that's your age level, because he's Tocha's age, so it's easy for us to work with him, you know what I'm saying? He's down with us, down on our level, you know what I'm saying? He's a business person, but he's very, you know what I'm saying, playful and, you know, fun to work with.
Well, I want to thank y'all for taking the time and everything, and I
East Coast always in me, Commonwealth, Lil John, getting love from my city. I roll call for the DMV. In my own lane, you could still ride with me.